Today I want to show you how the fuel missions work in Out of Ore. I will show you all fuel drop-off locations and how much money you can make delivering fuel. When you first start a new game in Out of Ore, you need to complete the tutorial missions. This means getting a loan, buying a loader, and then digging and delivering your first load of ore. Once that is done, you can see all missions by pressing Q and selecting the clipboard icon right here. In here you will find a list of all missions. You can sort the list manually, because every time you select a new mission, the last selected mission will be listed below. The number of fuel delivery missions seems to be random. In the new game that I started, there were initially 5 fuel delivery missions. Once I finished 4 of them, an additional 6th one was added to the list, and then no more appeared once I finished all of them. But when I tried another new game, it started with 7 fuel delivery missions. There are 4 fuel delivery drop-off stations within the map. Here you can see all 4 stations and their location relative to the starting position. In order to start delivering fuel, we need to buy the fuel delivery truck in the vehicle store. You can find it on the bottom of the delivery truck list. The truck will be delivered outside on the helipad. Before we start, we need to fill the truck up at the fuel station that is built into the headquarters. Just drive up to it, open the menu with Q and press the fuel icon on the top right. First, it will fill up the truck's fuel tank that is used to drive around. Once that is full, it will start filling up the big tank in the back. The tanks seem not to be connected at this point in time. When your vehicle is fully fueled up, you can go ahead and select your first mission. The fuel truck has enough capacity to complete most missions in one trip, but just to be sure, check before you start your delivery. One of the missions I had required just a bit more fuel that I could transport in one go, so I had to make 2 trips. Here you can see me selecting the first mission. Once a mission is selected, a yellow diamond with an exclamation point will be visible. This is the location where you need to deliver the fuel. For my first fuel mission, I have to drive to the drop-off location number 4, which is the East Radio Tower. The drive is straightforward and shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Once you're in range of the drop-off location, the fuel is automatically transferred. Transferring the fuel can take around 1 to 2 minutes. You have to stay in the vehicle in order for the fuel to be transferred. When completed, a pop-up will inform you about the completion of the mission. The fastest way to get back to the starting destination is to rescue the truck by selecting Rescue in the menu, and then select Drive in order to be teleported into the vehicle. From here you can directly drive back to the fuel station and fill up the vehicle. For the next mission we are heading to the South Radio Tower, which is marked with the number 1 on the overview. Similar to the first mission, this one should be no problem to reach within a few minutes of time. You may get slowed down a bit when hitting a tree, but usually they disappear pretty fast and you can continue your travel. The next mission wants me to reach the West Radio Tower, which I marked with a 2 on the map. This one is a bit more difficult to reach because of the uneven terrain. I went pretty straight towards the tower, but hit a few tiny holes in the ground every now and then that stopped my truck, and I had to back up to get out. This drive includes a steep section just before you reach the tower, but you should be able to drive your truck straight up the mountain. Last but not least, the North Radio Tower. It's marked with a 3 on the map. This one seems to be the furthest away from the start than any other radio tower. If you take the most direct route to the tower, you will encounter 2 steeper sections. The first one is a mountaintop that can be driven right over, but on the other side you may get stuck in one of the smaller holes in the ground if you hit it head on. The second one is more of a ridge and can also be driven over with relative ease if you go right over it. It can be a bit more difficult if you try and drive through the little gap between the hills. As you can see here, the angle and the small space make it really difficult. I was struggling to get through there, but with a bit back and forth I was able to do it. Now that we have driven to all locations, you should be able to find your own way to the radio towers and finish up all fuel delivery missions. You can make some good money doing these missions. Each time you fill up your fuel truck, it can cost up to $85,000, but the payout for each of the missions is definitely worth it. Each fuel delivery mission can earn you somewhere between $200,000 to $400,000. With the cost of the fuel in mind, that means you can roughly make $100,000 to $300,000 a trip. If you do enough trips, that can add up quickly. You can see here that I started with the $600 given when you create a game and then took a $400,000 loan to finish the tutorial mission. I bought the fuel truck for around $160,000. And after finishing up the 6 fuel delivery missions, I sold everything and paid back my loan. I ended up with almost $1.5 million just from the fuel delivery missions. So if you need some quick cash and don't want to take a loan, try the fuel delivery mission. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you very much and have a nice day.